Like, I don't know. Well, it took me a year and a half to get your name on there.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Chasing the Whimsy. I'm your host, Ben, and my other host, because her name's on the title card now.
Megan.
What are we doing, Megan?
Tired. I mean, we just got back from TusCon a couple hours ago, I think.
Yeah.
And we had a great time.
Year number 3.
Year 3, and now we're presenters. So that's
Right.
this is first year presenting.
And the guy who he doesn't run it, but he's like the second in command. Like he helps with a lot of the programming. He does. I think he's legit the one who's doing most of the programming. I love the recognition from people from years
His
past.
name is Joe, right?
I think it's Joe.
Yeah.
I just like that you walk around and like people recognize who you are.
Well, we recognize so many people because TusCon is like a tiny community, and there's just people who go there, not even necessarily because there's an older crowd who's been there for forever.
Oh yeah, they gotta go back years.
But then there's certainly like just a crowd of people who I'm like, oh, I remember you from last year. I sat next to you in this panel, or I saw you at this place, or I saw you in this.
You saw Ross again, and you're like, this is what happened.
No, Ross is definitely an old head who's been there for a while because he's always running panels there, and I really like what he has to say, and he seems to be a really good writer.
Yeah.
And he has like a lot of good insight on writing and a variety of other topics, I'm sure, but like.
Yeah, like
he came to our panel.
Yes, he did.
That was a big surprise.
And like, and I don't know if humble is the right word, but he came in like legit interested in it, not like coming in like, oh, I already know about writing and podcasting or how to get my stuff out there. He came in like legit, like
he wanted to learn something from us, which was super cool. And it was interesting to be the people holding the cards for once.
I like that we were able to too. And like, with the second one, we'll obviously get to the second one, but for the most part, all the panels, everybody was fairly engaged.
Yeah, we should say we did 4 panels this year at TusCon. Not all of them were just us. 2 of them were just us, and then the other 2 we were added to just through the programming, which is kind of cool and neat because they combined people they thought would be interesting talking about certain subjects.
Right. So I submitted a bunch of them, and then they gave us 2 of ours, which was episode 0 and Bridging Communities.
Right.
It was worded differently.
Yeah, it was worded differently ours, but it was like the same spirit of what we were submitting.
But Joe knew us enough from just last year, was like, they'd be good for these 2 other panels.
Right. Or some might say semi-good for other panels. We ended up on a writing panel, and poor Ben is just like, I've never read a book in my entire life, and I'm certainly, he's written a book. I mean, like he's...
Well, and but I think we're all over the place, but one of the things is I appreciate everything that their advice that they had, but there was still this kind of like old-timey way of doing things, like
and it was a little bit hard to break in on that panel because we were on the like other side of things, and I didn't want to be like, these are published authors. I'm a semi not published author, so like I didn't want to like jump in on anything because like they know what they're doing. But I probably should add more like fresh perspective because they really were like onto like the ending of stories should be all wrapped up. Everything should be like what the character was going out for in the beginning. And I'm like, oh, I love disruptor endings. I love the endings where everything did not turn out okay and we didn't achieve our goals and things might not be good after this. Like,
or one that's like I don't think you did. House of Dynamite. It was it's on Netflix. It was a nuclear attack is happening. So three stories, the same 15 minutes told in three different perspectives.
Mhm.
And in the end, it's just credits black. So
Yeah.
we don't know who launched it. Spoiler. We don't know, like, we don't know if we retaliated. Like, there's a whole just open ending where it's just like, it's a thinker piece.
Yeah, it's there to help you, like, sit there and imagine, and I feel like a lot of times that engages readers more because they're now tasked with writing the ending for you or what they think. It's you gave them all the ingredients, they have
Yeah.
to bake the cake now.
Right. So I like, because like, they have, and it's interesting because I'm sure they've been doing it for years, and they have like a dozen books. Each of them have a dozen
Oh, yeah,
books.
they were all stacked with books, and I was like, "Yeah, we're here with our handwritten piece of paper
There was a
saying
podcaster on it.
chasing the whimsy, we're podcasters."
But it's and it's not a disrespect in the old timiness. It's they're from a place where all of your writing was you were either a comic book writer or a novel writer or whatever writer.
Right.
Whereas I look at just storytelling, and because I brought up the example of like Kevin Smith, and I'm like, I don't read books, but
Well, then
he
also
tells
you said
stories.
talked about,
Oh, the mangas,
anime and
yes,
stuff like that, like, those are all storytelling too,
and
like,
like legit forms of art and storytelling.
because if you think, like, TV shows are like short stories
Hmm.
and, movies like a novel, you have that same process of the short story is self-contained,
Yeah.
it's small, and, it could be linked together to build to something,
Right.
or even, like, the different novels in a series.
Hmm.
But, like, a movie has to be itself,
Right.
beginning, middle, and end. And I do agree with them that it needs to be contained, it needs to be thematic, everything should make sense, and it shouldn't be unsatisfying, but I think maybe it should be a little unsatisfying
Yeah.
sometimes, like,
Or don't be afraid if it is. I don't
not
think.
unsat
Yeah.
not unsatisfying in the sense that, like, it was poorly done.
Right.
Unsatisfying in the sense that, like, you've, walked with this character for so long, and you want to see them succeed, and maybe they don't.
Right.
'Cause everybody, like, if you love a character to read, like, 5, 6 books
Right.
about them, you want them to get everything, you want them to be the crowned king in the
Hmm.
end, you want them to get all the accolades, and sometimes it's just like, "No,
Yeah.
that's not what happened."
So, and it was interesting because the lady on the end, Kerry, Kerry, she mentioned talking to her grandkid or her son about how media, like how we consume things, is shorter, and then
Right,
like I could feel like there was like most of the panel that were like, but we want to write larger books
right.
where she's like society today is like we want shorter, and they even went into like publishers want shorter. We don't want these long series.
But I don't necessarily agree with that either because, like, think about, I don't know, Game of
Yeah, yeah,
Thrones. If you wanna read all those books, Song of Ice and Fire, you're in for a long haul.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna be scared away by a lot of
Right.
words or a lot of reading. So if your book is good and compelling enough, I think people will read it. The
It's,
people who are
yeah,
readers will read it. I think that they're trying to compete with people that they haven't seen before.
yeah,
Because these kinds of like media and stuff like that, clearly everybody likes it. People who read books also watch TV.
yeah,
Like if you're the Michelin star chef, occasionally you're gonna go eat
right,
fast food, right? You're not, or you make toast for dinner.
you're right.
Um, but now we're seeing mass market to the people who don't like to read. And I will tell you, like, coming from somebody who was raised in the 90s, most people I knew who didn't like to read. I loved reading, but most people didn't. And now they have like this sort of media that caters to their interests and their like level like of reading because like somebody it's like you doesn't like they not like to read as much because you struggle with
Right,
it,
right,
so these kind of things are easier for you to consume.
right.
Does that make them less of an art form? No, but you can still make that art form for the people who like to read. They're
Right,
still out there. It just seems like you're ending up in like some kind of weird island of people who like to read, but you were always on that island.
right,
Most people don't like school,
right,
but the people who like to read tend to like school.
right.
They're still out there, you're still writing for them. If you're trying to pull in people who don't like reading into reading, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people who have said in all the time, I used to read on my breaks at
Mm,
work, right?
nerd. Just
And
kidding.
people would be like, "Hey, what are you reading?" And I'd be like, "Well, do you read?" Because, like, first of all, I would always be
Right.
super annoyed because I'm like, "Hey, I'm trying to read here."
Right.
But I'd be like, "Oh, do you read?" And they're like, "Oh, I haven't read a book since high school, and I'm, 45 years old." And I go, "Oh, okay. Well, then, I could tell you what the book is
Right.
about, but you're never gonna
Right.
read it, right?"
Something here's interesting. If I listen to an audiobook, do I get credit for reading the book?
I think so. I
Okay,
mean,
good.
here's the
Then I've
thing.
read books.
You You are receiving that content, and I feel like audiobooks make it even easier for people to consume long form
Right.
content because you don't feel like you are. When you listen to an audiobook,
Yeah.
could you even tell me how many pages you just listened
No.
to? No, because you're enjoying yourself, you're immersed. You can even do it while you're doing something else,
Right.
which is something you can't do with reading. You have to
Right.
sit down.
Well, and then sometimes you're like, but what's interesting is I'll miss something and then I'll find myself doing a task that's less demanding so that I can focus more on the actual story.
Yeah.
Um, but it's one of those things where if I try to read like American Gods a year,
Yeah.
like I'm going back rereading stuff and like, but the idea that I can listen to an audiobook for 20 hours, I'm like, oh my, like now it's like it's digestible. I can finish it in 10 days. I can listen to 2 hours a day.
Easily. And that's the thing is easily you can finish it. For you because you have trouble reading, but for me, like, you become an adult
Mhm.
and you don't have time anymore to
Right.
sit down and read. And that's like a super like common thing I hear with readers is I don't have time
Right.
anymore and it sucks. But if you think that reading an audiobook is somehow lesser or
Right.
different than that, it's different for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not lesser. It's still consuming that person's art
Right.
and sometimes almost in a way that they wouldn't expect. It's interesting because
Mm.
there's another aspect to audiobooks, and that's the performance of the
The narrator,
reader.
100%. Because you guys like the Harry Potter guy, right?
Right. Well, I like both people who,
Neil
narrate.
Gaiman. Good lord, like oh, I love listening to that man.
Does he read his own audiobook?
He did Graveyard Story, and I want to say he might have done he does a couple of his, and like he's got that like that British voice. I'm like, I'm in it. Like, let's do it.
Yeah,
Um,
and I've heard good and bad feedback sometimes because sometimes the author is not the right person to read
right.
the story. But a
I,
lot of times they are because it's their book.
right.
They
I
know about it. They know how it's supposed to be read.
I got into for a minute autobiographies. So like Kevin Smith would read his own book, and it's
Right.
obviously he plays with it a little bit, so it's not word for word. Um, and he throws in maybe an anecdote here or there for the audiobook, but like Chelsea Handler, she reads all of hers, and like
Which makes sense because 'cause they're
yeah,
telling their own story just like they are when they wrote the book.
right. So yeah, I enjoyed falling down a couple Sarah Silverman, Olivia Munn. But yeah, I fell into this hole for a minute where I'm like, I enjoy like hearing their story from them.
Yeah, you enjoy hearing their journey and, like, because you see stars out there
Right?
and you just think that they have, like, this, like, other
Yeah.
life, and then when you read an autobiography, like, "Oh, I felt really insecure about this," or "I was really nervous about this." I'm like, "I didn't think that, like, actors got nervous about anything. I
Right.
thought they just liked acting and they never got nervous because it's what they do." And
Right.
I'm like, "Oh, I guess, yeah, everybody gets nervous at work, I guess,
Uh,
sometimes."
But I honestly enjoyed that panel. I liked hearing where they were coming from, kind of, and hearing the different processes that they
Oh,
have.
for sure, especially, like, when they talked about what process they take for writing, because the one said that she always starts at the end,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Could not be me." But, mostly because I'm, like, the worst, like, pantser there is
Right.
there. Uh,
What if? Okay, here's just an idea. Instead of us being on the panel next year, right?
boo.
You be on the panel, then I'll okay. Me not so much on the panel. I think it would be nice if they had a moderator.
True, yeah,
It would like submit your questions.
I did feel a little bit like when you like, are trying to get into double dutch
Yeah.
and you're trying to jump in because every time somebody would stop talking, I'd be like, "Okay, I wanna make sure
Right.
they're completely done talking before I say something."
Right.
But as soon as I was absolutely sure somebody else would start
Yeah.
talking, I'm like, "Dang it."
I think in I think I might reach because he said they'll send out emails at the beginning of the year, February, March. I might ask and be like, hey, have she does more of the writing and stuff. Can I moderate one? And that way I can kind of like gear questions a little bit more and kind of spread it out a little bit. And then al- also is this is the year like we've done so we've done 6 panels this year.
Correct, yeah.
So now I'm like, well, it's all part of that like learning thing where I think we fucking killed it for panels, dude, for never having done a panel before.
No, yeah, seriously, honestly, both fan fusion panels that we did were, like, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, yeah,
We were, like, high off our
yeah,
lives after those, and then these ones were so much more, intimate.
yeah,
In one case, we had no, in 2 cases, we only had 2 people
yeah,
there, but, one was, like, a couple,
yes.
so they were together,
What's nice is that we were able, like, we didn't get discouraged, and and I
we
think
had a great discussion too, like
I really think Mike is going to reach out, and I honestly think that we're going to either end up with candle samples, I honestly think that if there
yeah.
was more people, we wouldn't have
Oh, and
connected the way that we did.
Carolyn was such a gem. This couple, by the way, was with us for 3 of our 4 panels.
Oh, she's so excited. Oh my gosh, I loved her.
No, the 2 of them were so sweet, and they made such a good, like, team and
Yes.
pair, and they were just so happy
Did you
and
catch the moment where he's like, "Reel it in, lady"?
but he's so cute, and they really were, like, the life of our panels because I enjoyed seeing them. It gave me, like,
All right.
hope because they were, like, such a positive
Mhm.
influence on the audiences, and, I liked having them because we did one panel on episode 0.
How was that one?
Okay, so that one was, like, I'm not gonna put a pass fail on it, but if it did happen, it'd probably be a fail because we didn't end up, recording anybody.
Well, what's weird is because the vision was talk for 15, record for 15, discuss.
Right.
And then we got more into just discussion, which that was a pass.
Yeah,
But
great discussion, great way to kind of, like, allay the fears,
you
and
tapped out your phone, you're like, it's 45, like, are we gonna record somebody? I'm like, and I even tried to. I was like, never mind.
but, like, yeah, we had Mr. C with us,
Yes.
our prize pupil. Oh my god. So, anyways, we met Mr. C,
Because
uh
he's local. He's from down there.
yeah, we met him, not that we met him, we
Yeah.
met him at Fan Fusion, but I mean, we met him down there, and, he's so amazing. I've never met somebody with so many great stories, and it makes
And a
sense that that's
voice.
what his podcast is
Yeah.
about because who doesn't wanna listen to stories with Mr. C, by the
Mhm.
way, guys? Um, literally, who doesn't wanna listen to that podcast because his voice is great, the way that he tells stories, like, I am a giant mess when I tell a
Yeah.
story. I'm going back 10
Right.
chapters and then jumping forward, coming back to the middle, and his always end up to be funny and concise and interesting.
Yeah, he's got that theater background, so he's like,
Oh yeah, he really
so,
knows how to put on like a play.
right, like he tells a story with all the structure.
Yeah,
First act, second act, he's like, let's bury the lead a little
we could
bit.
literally never.
I'm like, hey, you want to hear a story? I'm like, I was set on fire. And you're like, what? I'm like, oh, I probably should have led into.
Yeah, I just started. Oh yeah, he totally slapped some girl's ass, and then it turns out her boyfriend was
Right.
right there, and then he set me on fire.
But he was he was at episode 0, and he was a little bit of a cheerleader for us, and it was all like, it wasn't like a paid come in plant guy. Like he
Yeah,
legit was like, whatever you think of these guys, like,
and he was so sweet about it. We didn't ask him to say anything about it. We were just happy that he was with us
yeah,
at the panel because you love to have backup. You love to see a friendly face, and but he was like, yeah, these guys are here to support you. It's easier than you
hmm,
think. There's a time when I thought that I couldn't do it, and then I did.
yeah,
You are at that nexus of
yeah,
I'm not doing it now, but I could tomorrow.
right,
And that was such a great plug, accidental
Yeah.
plug, and the people in there were super, like, interesting, like, the different questions that they
Yeah.
had. It wasn't the same as the fan fusion questions, which is mostly like, "What equipment do you use?"
Right. How do I get
Um,
monetized? How do I make money? How to become a
yeah,
millionaire?
these people were like, "Well, okay, so I have, like, this really specific podcasting situation," and one lady even said, she wants to podcast with her daughter, but she lives, like, across the
Right.
country, and we're like, "Yeah,
It's 2026, man. Let's do it. Like,
it's
let's
all
see.
doable. We just go ahead and jump on, Skype or Zoom or whatever,
Right.
and just you can screen record.
Right.
It's that simple, it's that easy."
Right. Um, and so what's so I'm going to call episode 0 a pass, or because when Liam and I recorded our episode 0,
Right.
it's it was with Ming Chen, and it was just him explain literally us having the exact same conversation we did with these people. That was our episode 0. Like, he didn't, um, like, a lot of it was just like how things work and things. But I guess technically he did record with us for a couple of minutes. Dang it!
Yeah. And, well, we were recording during
Yes.
the panel, so you guys can listen to these people's
Yeah.
ideas. We're gonna link them and their information that,
Yep.
you know, in the description. But I was really happy to see people who were interested in giving out such a variety of information, because we haven't gotten to the point where somebody's like, "Oh, I want to do like technical
Yeah.
information, how tos," and
Yeah.
um,
It was nice to hear that they weren't bogged down with the tech aspect of it.
oh
They were
yeah,
kind of like,
well, and that's TusCon
yeah,
though. Everyone there is like a computer science
right.
major from the beginning, and they're always so savvy with everything, which is so cool. I feel like the outsider there because I could barely use a computer. Um, but I could also record my own podcast.
Right.
It's that easy. It's an idiot like me can do it.
Right.
So,
Well, so okay, so that's 2. So we did 3. So uh, so we talked about writing and ending episode 0. We have the one we want to talk about, and then what was the other one?
um,
Oh, the 2 people. So,
yeah,
the building bridges. And what was nice about that one, even though it was just the 2 of them, it was, and Mike got it. And like, I started watching him like at 30 minutes, and then at like 45, his demeanor changed a little bit, and he started like really like grasping the idea of like, he does computer, um,
literacy stuff.
yeah, like just in text on the tech side of it, and the idea of like, I'm just a whimsical podcast, but we can still be part of the same community. And I think
Well,
it kind of clicked where he's like, okay, I don't have to like shoehorn myself into just tech.
and then also I think he kind of was like understanding how like you can branch out in your own community because he has people working with him who do similar things. I'm like, support each other if you want. Because he does what was it, Windows,
Windows and
and
Windows,
the other one does Mac. I'm like, how about go on a video together or cross,
right,
post a video about like different, like really common questions that you
mhm,
guys get, or cross post a video about common pitfalls or things that people feel discouraged about, or things that you just hear over and over
right,
from both sides.
right,
Because, one of you guys does a different manufacturer, but
mhm,
I'm sure you guys have the same concerns, or the people who come to you have the same
right,
concerns. And how do you help them? And what do you do to help?
right,
And they can both learn from each other, and people listening to them can learn something as well.
right. Um, I like the idea of like, uh, he records these meetings that he has, um, early access if you sign up for the subscription club, and then that they're all out there. So he's not like bogarting like his stuff. He's just
Yeah.
like, hey, early access. And the idea of like, keep putting your stuff out because I'm gonna eventually burn through your stuff. So let me go find somebody else, and they'll come back to you. Like, just start promoting the rest of your tech people.
Right.
And like, you guys build that network within yourselves.
Well, and then so many people talk about consistency with posting and stuff like that. And for sure, that's a big part of the algorithm. And it's a big part of getting your stuff out there.
Mhm.
However, now that it is possible, like, you can get notifications
Mhm.
on people, there are times when I've loved a creator, watched every single thing that they have twice, 3
Right.
times, 4
Oh, yeah,
times.
yeah.
I can almost, like, tell you word for word. And I'm like, "Okay," so I just kinda get away from it.
Right.
And then, a year later, ding, this person just po I go nuts.
Right.
I'm ready to watch them again. They start posting again. So, like, there are those, like, little back flags
Mhm.
that if you can get people to subscribe to you,
Yep.
put on notifications, they'll still get your content.
Right. Like Nick Crowley. I keep referring back to Nick Crowley because I absolutely love the guy, but he legit only puts stuff out once a month, if that.
Well, yeah, and there's, like, a, huge thing with, a lot of, like, true crime channels. The ones that are really well done, the ones that have, like, fantastic quality, they'll be posting, like, once every 3 months, and you're
Right.
like, or some of them will post, like, once or twice a year, and you go, "Oh my god, I just
Like,
wish there were more," but it will tell
right.
you when they come up, and everybody watches immediately because 'cause they're
Oh,
waiting for the
absolutely.
content. If your content is good, people will rush to
Right.
it.
It's one of those things where it's like the consistency can be 1 or 2 months because when you put out the video, I'm gonna see the research, I'm gonna see the production value, the sound quality. Like I'm gonna see that, oh, this half-hour video has a bunch of stuff in it, and like I can tell you, like that's what you had to do is build this thing, put this thing together. Um, who was Jeff Eott? Um, I think he was out of, I don't think he's Swedish, but he had this weird, like he did this. Oh my, it's still one of my favorite video. I'll send you a link. You absolutely have to do it. He did a review, the GIF of the trumpet skull back in the day, right? From like 1998, right? The little GIF of the trumpet player. So he's
Yeah.
like, where did this thing come from? And he went on this deep dive. And what was interesting, yeah, it took a month to come out, 2 months to come out, is because he's researching multiple different people. He's emailing multiple different
Right,
people.
you're waiting for
Right.
responses, you're going on to the next
Like he's giving me the full history and story of so like we have this idea of we'll talk about how in a second, but he has a website. He's right. He's a historian and he's trekked every con in Arizona for forever. So when we start going into those episodes, yeah, you might have to wait a month or two between like
Right,
this, like that series.
there's so much stuff, and, like, you think, "Oh, well, how much could researching take up?" And you don't realize that most people have, like, full-time
Right.
jobs or
I
2
it's,
full-time
I don't even know
jobs.
how to, like, it's so weird. Like some of these like if I try to do true crime, I don't know how I would act. Like they show the videos of like actual crime scene photos. I have no idea where to go to find crime scene photos.
And it feels very sus to Google, actual crime scene
Right?
photos of this or that crime, and you're just like,
So
I'm
weird.
on some kind of watch
Uh,
list now for sure."
so yeah, building the bridge of community was nice, and we built a bridge, um, with sure too. But what's interesting is there's potential there that either we could work together or we can. Worst case is like they're like, hey, check out these guys. You saw them at the con, and like
Yeah.
they're fun.
Or worst case scenario, they just take something from it, they
Yeah,
learn something from it, they apply it to their own community because they're already doing that.
right.
I love these 2.
Yes,
They're already so active in their own communities that it, like, puts me to shame.
right.
I don't know anything about anybody or helping anybody, but
But what's the at the very least, I guarantee you, we have at least 2 people for next year's panels, and like that's where it starts.
I know, and I so hope to see them again
Yeah,
because 'cause they're so sweet. And that's the thing is, like, we're talking to them about meeting up with the City Amigos and with Mr. C. And I'm like, it's so crazy that, at one point, this was just us sitting in a room talking to a microphone. And then now we're like, oh, yeah, the person we met at this con. And now they're like also podcasters too. And we know other podcasters, we know other
right.
creators.
I love the idea that year one or episode one, I would have been like, Yeah, I think it would be cool to eventually maybe possibly do it, like, but to be honest with you, it would have never have come into my mind. You would have had to have asked me.
Right, we literally would never thought about it, and you only thought about it because we took you to Fan Fusion,
Yeah.
and you were like, "I've never been to a con before," and we're like, "What do you mean you've never been to a
Yeah.
con before? Like, what's going on here?" And we go down to, TusCon, and
And then
that was such a beautiful experience the first time and every time since, because it's a different
yeah,
vibe. It's so much more
yeah,
intimate, and everybody there is just so insightful and cool.
right. It's fun because we're telling people, like, you have to just start somewhere, because, like, you have a vision of in your head of what your podcast is gonna be or you want it to be, but once you get going, you never know what's gonna start happening. Like, you might be like, "I wanna start doing other things," or start traveling and doing your own panels. Like, it opens up doors the second you start that, you start uh, your content or your creativity, and then once you start doing it, get comfortable with it. Like, I could do a how to write panel next year, and you wouldn't have done that unless you started hitting record.
Right.
Um, all right.
And that's kind of what we're always talking about too, is
Yeah.
just like you
We
do
were way too
something.
positive for that. Like, not that for
Oh,
that place, but we're for any place. We're like, you can do anything you want.
you can have your dreams, please.
All right. So those are three of the four panels that we did. Um, we did a one on uh business something in
The content
tech engine.
engine.
So
Basically like making content
and how to
and
maybe turn around and make some money.
turn on maybe make some money.
Right. And then,
And
even in the description it was possibly make some money.
yeah, it literally said possibly make
Yeah.
money, like maybe make a little bit of
Right.
money. And then
Oh, that's where. So we go to that panel, and this one is not ours. This one was given to us, and we met Marty, and we thought it was Marty's panel, and then Marty's like, I have no idea what is going on.
Marty was like, I think they just threw us on here. Marty was so cool.
He
Like,
was. Oh, like that's so weird. Like, we needed him. Like, I don't know anything about Marty, and I wish we knew more about Marty.
yeah, we talked to him for like a few minutes before we thank you. Um
Yes.
a few minutes before the panel
Yeah.
started, and we were kind of like, is this your panel? We're just shotgunning this one. He goes, no, I thought it was your panel. Like, we're just like, okay, I guess we're just gonna talk out the side of our mouths or whatever. I don't know, because we have no idea what to say. And we get in there, and it's two people.
Right. So, like, my game plan was content creation, which is like, what do you want to do? Create shorts. He makes movies. He was down in the courtyard shooting some promotional video. So the idea I thought was like the different ways to create content and then to use multi-purpose. Like, how do you create a YouTube, a podcast, make shorts out of it, and then like the Patreon. Like, I was thinking that kind of thing.
Yeah, Patreon, getting monetized
Right.
on YouTube.
But this guy,
Oh yeah, no. Oh, we'll go easy because
he was a nice guy.
yeah, he was a nice guy, but he was very passionate, and he
Yes.
kind of maybe a little bit steamrolled us because the whole panel became about one person.
Right. The like he kept like that he kept coming at us of like, I have this $1 million idea, and I need to get it off the ground. I'm just waiting. And he's like, and but he kept focusing on, it's ready to go as soon as this next one thing happens.
Right. And well, I was going to, and I am going to do it. And I said, well, where's step one then? Because I hear a lot of I will, I could have,
Yeah.
I would have, I should have, but there's not a lot of I am going to right now. Like, what am I going to do tomorrow? Like, how do I achieve my goals? Like, where's the first step on the path? Because you don't need to do everything all at once, but if you're standing still and just dreaming, you're not going to be doing anything.
Right. But an hour. So he probably took, honestly, probably the first 20 minutes, like
Right.
generously the first 20. But we try to keep it on track, and you kept you call them out and you're like, why aren't you doing? And which is the whole point of like everything that we've done for the last 2 years is like start somewhere.
Start somewhere, do something, make a change. You're not going to be able to get any different results if you keep doing the same
Well,
thing, which
oh,
sometimes is nothing.
right,
It's just, it's great to have dreams, but you gotta move
right.
towards them.
Well, in part, and then there is the other aspect of it is you have your $1 million idea, but I don't know who you are.
Right.
So it's like while you're waiting for this next thing to hit, create videos, introduce me to who you are, like build your brand now so
Right.
that when you have something to sell, I already know who you are.
Yeah, because when Mr. Beast tells us
Yeah.
Feastables, we go, it's from Mr. We
Yeah.
trust Mr. Beast. Why? I don't know. Some guy on the internet, but he has this presence and
Yes.
everybody knows him and he's popular and he's likable. And then he tries to sell you something and you go, okay,
Right.
cool. If Jimmy,
Yeah.
pre Beast, walked up to you, say you want to buy this homemade
Right.
chocolate bar, I'd say, what's going on,
Well,
man? Like, who are you?
it's interesting because there's the two guys that stand next to each other and hold a sign that have a task, right? And this says win $50 if you right figure out the clue. And I love the idea that they don't say or do anything; they just stand there. But they built a brand that says if you're walking a college campus and you see two guys standing next to each other, you're going to be on the internet,
Yep.
right? And it's like they have a presence. I have no idea what it is that they do, but but at the same time, like, if I'm walking down the street, I know who they are. I'm like, I'm figuring out whatever
Yeah, I'm reading the sign and figuring out what
right,
it says and trying to get
right.
$50.
The
And it's usually like $50.
yeah,
It's like 50.
or 50 or 100, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but it's not 10,000. It's
Yeah.
not Mr. Beast money. It's
And the beauty of those two is the novelty of people are like, "Oh, I wanna figure it out."
yeah, and the kids flock to them. They
Right?
see them and they start running.
And it's not even about the money. They're just like, "I wanna be
Right.
the one who figures it out because there's 20 of us all gathered around." So, like, the idea of, like, dude and he kept trying to come back with stuff, and we're like, use that," and he's like
And great ideas. Perfect ideas,
yeah,
but you have to just I told him because he said he wanted to get more into like short form
yeah,
content because I think he was mostly talking about TikTok, but
yeah,
YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, whatever it is.
all of them done.
Um, I was like, it takes 1 minute to film a 1 minute TikTok.
So his
So
whole thing
you
was
can go out in the hallway right now
yeah,
and come back in 1 minute and
right,
you'll have posted your first
right.
TikTok about
We could have
health,
done it right there.
wellness.
That could have been our episode 0.
Yeah, we should have just turned it into episode 0. But, like, you can do that right now. Like, if you have the information on you, which he seemed to have,
Yeah,
he seemed to say that he had, like, the information, um,
he had a personality, he
on
had a
on
character.
mind. It's not like
Yeah,
he had to look at his notes.
right.
Um,
He had he had something different than most people that I would see online
yeah,
selling whatever.
the
Because
energy and the
yeah,
charisma take you a long way, but you also have to be able to just
yeah.
pour do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do
Because
it.
what was he trying to do? De-aging?
Yes, de-aging and talking about, like,
Hey,
phenols
life,
and
lifestyle is a huge market on the internet.
On TikTok especially,
So,
there's so much content about aging, health, wellness,
um,
and that's, like, a lot of people's source for that sort of
yeah,
information,
recipe,
which could
you
be
fast,
problematic,
yeah.
of course, but, that's neither here nor there.
But like he's like, I've got a dozen recipes. I'm like, cook them, put them in a pan and cut like 2 minutes of each ingredient, stir, make a 90-second video for that.
Yeah, just literally, I put the garlic
Yeah,
in some oil, pause.
right,
Now I added the onions
right,
now that it's browned, pause, add the ground meat,
right.
pause, and you just
It's interesting where that they're they have these ideas and like almost like we should do a story one on that where like I have a story and it has to go this way and it's like sometimes I can't go that way.
yeah, sometimes you can't.
I wanted to bring that up in the writers one where they were talking about it and I was like just write something, get something out there because they're like one guy was like, well, I storyboard the whole thing and I'm like, okay, but if maybe you
And
can't.
that's great for because these guys are like professional
Yeah,
writers, and I know they all started
yeah,
somewhere, but like for the people out in the audience, I think the intimidating thing about talking about endings of
yeah,
stories, especially since most of them were talking about more like an ending of a huge
yeah.
series versus the ending of your first book,
Right,
which doesn't have to be as grand and
right,
as cool one as tying everything up because guess what? It's going on.
right.
You're moving on to the next one. I feel like the more inspiring thing for them would be like, hey, these are good tips for an ending, but just go write something, man. Just
Like
try it out. You
we
can always rewrite it.
right. We
It's
need.
not in stone.
What would have been interesting is give me the panel of how to get it started. Like, where do you start it off?
Right. And well, then we'd have to take Hal with us because
Right,
he just said just write. He's like, write anything. Write about, how uncomfortable it is to
right,
sit in this chair. Write about,
right.
the
So,
ticking sound that your AC is
right,
making. Like you just put words on
yep,
paper and if you guys listen to the recording from
yeah.
the dealer room, we were pumped after
Oh my
that.
god.
I pretty much thought I was a New York, Times best-selling author before even writing
Right.
anything after that speech. It was so
Yeah,
simple, and he's right.
yeah, definitely. So the panels overall, I think were, uh, we had. I think we adapted well
Oh, yeah, and it was such a good time.
because we
If you
could easily have cut the thing after 30 minutes and just fucking left.
right.
But we were like, no, man, we're here for the hour. Let's do this thing.
And I would say we had a good conversation in the last panel that we did, which was for building communities, and even the one where we were talking about the content
Yeah,
engine. It was useful to figure out how to focus an
yeah, yeah,
audience because we were kind of doing that,
yeah,
and I have a little bit of experience with that, knowing like about teaching and
yeah.
stuff like that. I the only thing I really felt bad about with that panel was I feel like Marty didn't get to say barely
I
anything.
tried to reel him
Oh,
back in as much as I
poor
could, and
thing.
Shannon. But so
And I wanted to see what he had to say because he seemed really interesting.
I'll reach out to him and have him on the podcast
Yeah,
and
because
be
he
like, we never got the chance to know who you are like we should have.
yeah, we wanted to know more about your content and more about your journey because he's been doing this for a really long
Yeah,
time.
filmmaker, 5 movies.
Well, and he said he started with like public
Yeah,
access
yeah, yeah.
television when he
Like
was like
I
15
love
and
the idea of public access. I have gone online to figure out how because I'm like I would 100% do Mind Pockets after like I think Mind Pockets would be brilliant for like
people
access.
would love that
I
on public
think
access.
I think like
They'd be
Wayne's
calling in
World,
their own mind pockets. You could have
dude.
like, hey, call in your own mind pocket and I'll play the audio on the
Like,
air.
like I love Mind Pockets and I love where it's at, but there's something about the idea of it being on a public access I think is just brilliant.
Public access is the purest art form because that's where people just go to give content. And
And
it's
they know,
not about making money. It's about the like you're expressing your art or you're expressing
right?
your opinion or you're expressing or you're teaching.
Like Wayne's World were like the first like YouTubers. Like if you think about it, like their whole show is like what we're all trying to accomplish today. They got their little shtick, they got their fandom, and they hit a very small niche and they got picked up. So the cons are fantastic, or the panels were fantastic. I think next year, um, uh, we do them more and again. Um, Real quick, do you have any ideas of what you want next year's panels to look like? What topics or ideas?
Okay, so I definitely want a second crack at episode 0. I
Oh,
I agree that we were a raging success, but
yeah.
like I want to record one.
So here's what I think. I think we almost do. I think we start with the episode 0 record, and we don't worry about the crowd work early. I think it's, hey, welcome, episode 0. Who has a podcast idea? Come over here and let's hang out for a second. And
Who's
then we,
comfortable
yes,
recording? Don't be scared.
I think,
Don't be scared. Like I told the one lady who wanted to start a
yeah,
podcast with, I was like, listen, if you don't like it, we won't say what your name
right,
is. It'll just be recording your
yeah,
voice. Nobody's gonna know who you are.
right,
Nobody's listening to us
right.
anyways. Like, it's okay.
I think we lead with the recording earlier. And then we have all that discussion at the end of like, hey, how was it? How did you guys see it? Like, what were some of the things that you saw
Did
looking
that
inwards?
seem scary to you?
Right,
No? Okay, well that's because it's not
right.
scary. Yeah, we probably should have just been like, hey, don't be scared, but we're gonna ask one of you right now,
Right.
are you willing to record with us? Who's willing to record? It's gonna be 15 minutes. It's just gonna be, you can do it as a mock episode, or you can do it as like just explaining about
Mhm.
your podcast. Either way, we're good with it, but
Right.
just come over here and
Right. Because I think we're very good with the crowd work, the positivity, and setting the right vibe. And I think we could do that fast. I think we could achieve that very fast, where we don't need all that crowd work early on. Like
right.
obviously the fan fusion, I think we would do the the crowd work again, because
Yeah.
that obviously was a perfect panel. I think for episode 0, I think it's like, you guys are interested. Let's just get it out there first. So I like, instead of spending an hour trying to convince somebody to do it, hello, 3 minutes, sit down.
I also think, and this is just maybe like a secondary panel idea, and you're gonna hate me for it. We should do like a game one. Like, like
100%.
I like we should make it into like Whimsy Gauntlet or a game or something that
Yeah,
would be fun for everybody. Just come up and like maybe laugh a little bit. And
I like it.
because I feel like, okay, so I went to the fashion show, which I haven't
Okay.
gone to last year. It was just like such a cute thing to
Yeah,
see. Everybody's coming out and like they wrote little descriptions of their characters, and Hal was reading
right.
them, by the way. And
I love that guy.
I love Hal. And he's reading them, and they're like sashaying around the
Yeah,
stage and doing little cute poses and that kind of like group energy, and everyone,
right.
woo, and they're having a great time. I want to be part of that energy.
Yeah,
That I want to be game show hosts.
I think, and I think so we advertise it as game trivia something
Right.
interactive. Prizes will be people see prizes. Hey man, they're just fucking some tokens, maybe
we
a stuffed gnome.
or we should get like a silly prize, like one of those like as seen on
Yeah,
TV, like little gadgets or
right.
something that nobody's ever gonna really use.
Oh, or what's even like, here's something genius, right? We get Shannon make a basket. We get your candle lady, Carol,
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Like we get some, like, over the next year, we meet some people, we get some free samples or whatever, and then like the idea is like, hey, here's your guys' prizes for your, if you win, you guys got a basket from 4 people that we met last year,
Yeah.
and then here you guys go. Like
And then everybody else could get like a little like, consolation
yeah,
prize. But it'll be like, like business cards or like
or
candies.
or a smaller sample
Right.
versus like the bigger overall thing.
And that way we can like advertise for
Yeah,
those people in that way, like a little small way, but everybody gets
right.
one. But yeah,
I
I
like
guess
it.
I guess we're gonna have to put in our ad read
Right?
because
Yeah, please.
we spoke with Carolyn, her husband, and she distributes candles.
Candles.
Candles. And so she gave me these 2 little adorable samples. One of them's called Gray Birch, and the other one's called Peace, Love, and Watermelon.
Do you think they only have like a handful of cents?
I have heard they have about 100 cents.
A hundred cents.
100 cents. And they have
What?
scents of the month. They
the-
come up with new scents all the time.
What?
They have a subscription service that you can get candles, so you can just burn through those candles and come get new ones.
Ah, God, look at you.
And
Oh, that's so subtle. I loved it.
I literally love her. So please, if you're listening to this and you like candles, buy a candle from Carolyn McLean. It says Mia Bella's candles. She's the distributor of them. You can reach her at scent-team.com/gift or candle-lady@cox.net. She is a woman veteran.
Hmm.
She is the light of my life at TusCon this year.
She would be head to head with Sophie on who had the biggest smile all
And such
weekend.
a great businesswoman, but a
Mhm.
great person in her community. She's on Facebook all the time with other people who distribute things.
She gets more excited about Facebook Live than I do for my life.
Honestly, she probably does better on her Facebook Live than you too.
Oh, we should jump on there. I'll find her. If I see it, I'll send you a link so we can both.
Oh, we will jump on there. But yes, Mia Bella's candles, Carolyn McLean, she is so awesome, and we
Absolutely.
met her at the con, and by the way, the candles smell really good.
They do.
These little samples are like little pieces of
Yep.
wax, and they smell amazing.
What was nice too was I believe she has wax warmers, so she had the
Correct.
little cubes, so I
Which
don't
is
burn my
great
house down.
for people like you who are gonna burn their
Yeah.
house down. I have a wax warmer too,
hmm
so
So we get all of them
I'm
scents.
also like a real adult, and I can burn candles as
I
well.
mean, to be fair, I burn candles. Um, I've not burned anything down like in a long time. The one, okay, here,
Notice how you didn't say ever.
the ones that I have a problem with, and it's all like childhood is all trial and error. So, incenses are the ones that I dispose of prematurely and set the trash can on fire.
Have you considered waiting till they cool down, like putting your fingers on it, and if it's too hot for your fingies, you can't put it in the trash can
Uh, I was a child, but
of 21 years old.
right. All right. So the con has, I think, three distinctive aspects. We have the panels, and then we have the dealer room. Different people than last year. Couple.
Yeah.
We had
Goth Geek came back,
Goth
so
Geek and Oren.
Ori.
Ori. Oh yes, Ori. Shit. Ori was there. She's promoting her second book coming out first of the year ish. Goth Geek, he remembered us, which is super cool. I love the idea that people just like, yeah, I remember who you are.
Dude, and the both of them are like freaking geniuses.
Yeah.
Her book is amazing. Read it. The fact that it like follows the stages of grief.
Wildborn.
Yeah, follows the stages of grief. Genius. And over on the Gothic Geek side, his dice are awesome, but also the accoutrement. I bought a pin. I almost bought some dice, but I don't even play games. So he's that good.
Right.
I'm literally trying to buy his it's like a fidget spinner die, and it is the most addicting thing I've ever seen in my life.
You can just leave it on your desk and spin it while you're at work.
I mean, it probably could, but the pin is better because I have like a little mesh basket on my desk, and I put pins on it. So
we ran into so that the dealer room was 40 minutes, which was the fastest. Like, didn't feel like 40.
Yeah, no, seriously, it did not.
But there was who was it? Okashi Flowers. They did origami with cloth origami.
Yeah,
they made flowers.
A very hard to pronounce Japanese art form.
Yes.
That we will not attempt. But the company name is Okashi. Not Okashi. Well, yes, Okashi, like Okashi, but it's spelled Oakashi. Yes. And the person who makes the flowers' name is Megan. And she's super cool. I met her outside of the dealer room as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about like crafting and art forms and stuff like that. But she is so detail oriented. Her works are amazing, immaculate, and each one like looks machine made. But you're watching her do it at the table, and you're just going, "I can't believe this is happening."
She did go to Japan and actually studied and learned.
Correct. Yeah, she trained formally in this art form.
Which is fantastic. It's not because she started online and she's like, I like this, I'm good at it. And then the idea that for a month I'm going to go off and learn how to do this thing like legit.
Yeah, and actually do the real training. But another part to the training is that now she can teach other people how to do it.
She's certified to be able to teach. But the idea of like, I love the idea of going back to Japan and she's learning a craft that's hundreds of years old. Like she's like I learned it from this guy who learned from this guy from this guy from like the Ming Dynasty.
Yeah, you can trade Ming Dynasty. Benjamin.
There was a Ming Dynasty, wasn't there?
There was.
Oh, not my Ming. Whatever.
But
people are like, can't listen to this no more.
She's like, please stop.
Right.
Plugging my stuff. And her husband, by the way, is super talented too. He's trying to sit there and pretend like he isn't. We see you and we know you can do things.
So she was super cool.
But I love somebody who's so supportive and
Yeah.
sweet, so
Um, Sophie got the clip-on earrings.
correct, and I bought earrings as well.
Very nice. Um, there was another gentleman we did not get to talk to on the recording, but he sold rocks.
Yep.
That guy was super fun. Um, I have a thing for rocks going back to my grandma, because my grandma and I collected rocks as kids. Take us to little like rock stores, and it
Yeah.
was like so like I can appreciate it, a cool looking rock,
Yeah, see, we used to get, the organic rocks straight from the ground.
right?
Kelly's probably got Kelly, how many rocks do you have on your, dresser right now? Oh, no, she's counting.
6.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it's
6.
for sure. I think it was from that rock I found in my backyard, the lost one that I eventually found. I think that's when
Right.
I really started like entertaining like rocks and stuff. But it was something that grandma and I would do. She we'd go over for the weekend. She's like, "Fuck it, we're going, and we're gonna go to this random gem store."
Yeah, if there's a
Yeah,
rock store, Kelly will hella hit it up,
yeah,
no matter where it is, and she also hit up that guy
yeah.
too.
So he was super nice. I enjoyed talking to him. Chainmail was there. I didn't talk to her. We didn't record her. Talked to her briefly. Not the same. I felt bad because I like my old chainmail lady from last year.
Of course, but no, um, I also bought earrings from this chainmail lady.
Nice,
There's listen, con people, if you have earrings, I will come.
right? And then, God forbid if you're like, well, I don't know if she'd wear them or if they're too big.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody asked,
if you ask silly questions, like, will somebody wear big earrings when they're wearing earrings that are currently, like, 4 inches
right?
long?
I'm like, my bad.
He goes, "Yeah, wouldn't that be so big? Move my hair, I'm just wearing these giant snake earrings."
Um, and then we wrapped around, and then Hips, what was her name? Um,
Of course, that's what you remember,
but
but
she
I don't remember.
but she was a she's story wrote, so she wrote all the stories, and then her man did all the art.
Correct, and it was like an Art Nouveau style, so cool looking. It's hard to, like, describe it on the
Right.
recording, but I thought that her writing process was super interesting because she writes in known universes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a I just uh like you're awesome because like I never even would have thought about that question where
It immediately I felt so bad because I was like, "I'm taking over this one. I got
no,
you. I have
please.
so many questions."
But she was like, I write, but somebody created the universe and I get to play in it.
Yeah, but there's rules, and
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, is that restriction hard or is it challenging to make it fun?" And obviously the answer was both, but she had such great energy, and I loved the idea of her books because I was reading, the little excerpts and
Hmm.
stuff like that. A lot of, like, girl power, but also a lot of, like, creativity and, like, steampunk, and,
Yeah.
she was dressed up, like, in steampunk finery. Amazing costume, by the way.
I do enjoy steampunk.
Yeah, it's a certain look, and some people do it really well and some people don't. She obviously did it amazing. Um,
How do you feel about cyberpunk?
the game?
No, no, just the art style of cyberpunk versus steampunk.
Um, I would almost say I like cyberpunk better.
Okay.
There's something about cyberpunk which lends itself to almost like a I don't know, there's like a future aesthetic and it's almost always like mixed with Japanese style,
Hmm.
which I find so cool looking. So it takes my interest in like the Japanese art style and
Yeah, yeah,
like, Japanese culture and then puts it with this cool like dystopian look. Because
yeah.
steampunk is not always dystopian. It's sometimes like bright and happy and
Oh, it's like Victorian, like
Victorian, we're having fun. It's like about steampunk is about invention. It's
yes,
about moving towards the future, while cyberpunk seems like we're at the future. It
right.
sucks, bro. Like this is not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Um,
So she was very nice. I liked her. And then I think the highlight, we go into the corner, we had Dee Dee, and she hanging out. She likes it. She does a lot of con. She's active within the con, but she's like, the one you want to talk to is this guy Hal.
Yeah, she's just, "Oh, yeah, you gotta talk to him." And you know what? Honestly, she was right.
Yeah.
No, but she was so lovely as well, and I love that these 2, like, share the same energy
Mhm.
of you can just do it.
Yeah.
You can just do it, and things are she was like, "Yeah, you gotta play to win,
Mhm.
right?" Such a great conversation. If you listen to the dealer room recording, it basically summed up what we try to convey in our panels,
Right.
which is very Nike, just do it.
Right.
Just attempt something because the fear of failure shouldn't be something that's holding you back. Because what's failure really? Nobody likes your stuff, nobody
Right.
watches your stuff. Who cares?
Right.
Make another video, maybe somebody will watch that one. Write something else, maybe somebody will read that
Oh,
one.
well, my favorite thing that he said, and we're not as blunt about it, but he's like, his whole thing was write a million words.
Right.
He's like,
And I'm
every
yeah, like
every day write something. Find or find a routine in which you do and write something. He's like, doesn't have to be part of the story. Um, of any given story. If you have writer's block, write about something else. He's like, it's the idea of writing and putting down a million words.
well,
And he's
yeah,
like, and
it's
they're
the
gonna suck in the
practice.
beginning. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I love the most. He's like, it's not gonna be good. He's like, you're not gonna write your big fucking epic in the beginning.
People task themselves with, like, making Michelangelo's David
Yeah,
when they haven't played with Play-Doh yet.
yeah,
Don't think about the great masters when
right,
you're just goofing around with some silly stuff.
right,
Just learn things, apply different things, experiment with
right,
things. The best time to experiment is every time you do something because you could find something different. But you can't be looking towards these lofty goals of,
right,
I want to make the best
oh,
novel ever because that's not what writing is.
right. I like the idea of like write a million words. He's like, you want to write you if you like you want to be a writer, you don't know who you are as a writer. He's like, write a million words and within
Find
the
it.
it,
Yeah.
right. And because like at some like I'm like I'd like to attempt to try it. But the idea of like the first 10,000 words, I'm like, this is all garbage. But then the idea of like, oh, I really started finding my voice, or like I really liked this direction of like changing it from like this person to this person and kind of be like, this is my style now.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of locked in because
You got your million word.
I was gonna say I'm about to get my million words next year. So maybe I already have it. I don't know.
Right.
Like, but if you went by 50,000 words a year,
Right.
then I would be getting my million words next year. So
Like that's actually kind of exciting that like when you put it in that kind of perspective.
right, and then well, that'll be 20 years
Hmm.
of writing.
Hmm.
So I actually started looking back. I think it was last year at my old writing, which I usually never do because
Right.
I'm not a fan of my own writing. Or I thought I wasn't.
Right.
And then I was like reading like certain things and I was like, "Whoa, this one's really good." Like
You
not this whole work was amazing, but I would read like a certain passage, a certain description, a certain character, a certain idea and I
you
would go
reconnected with like a
and I would
younger version of
I would
yourself.
well, I'd be obsessed with it. I'd go, "This is actually really good. I wish I could just frame this and make this my novel
Right.
because like this part is really good." And I was like, "Well, how do I write a whole thing that's like as
Right.
good as this?" And I'm like, "Well, did I get go to the next year, right?"
Right.
Obviously, when I first started writing, kind of formally writing, I was always writing. I
Hmm.
was a big writer since like learned how to write. I would always write stories and short stories stuff like. But when I really started like writing, was in 2006.
Hmm.
So garbage, oh, absolute garbage, total terrible. Anyways, not the point. The point is that is really bad. But then like the farther I got along, especially when you come to like the last couple years, I would be like, I'm like gripped by this because one of my best things is I have, like, advanced Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
so I'll forget what I wrote.
Right.
So I'll forget what happens in the story, so I'm just sitting there reading it, and be like, "What happens next? What's going on? Like, what did I write about this? Like, what direction did I take it
Right.
in?" And I was like, I would hope that somebody who was reading it for the first time, obviously I'm not, but,
Right.
like, would also feel
Right.
that, like, tension of what's gonna happen next. And I was like, "Did I write something good? Did I write something that was, like," and then, of course, I immediately started being like, "Can I write something passable? Can I
Right.
write something that's, like, okay?" But it was a really big surprise to me that I literally started, like, highlighting certain
Nice.
portions of things and being like, "This is something that I
Mhm.
feel proud of
Yeah.
writing," to the point where it almost feels like I couldn't have written this
Right.
because it's really good.
Um, Not next year's panel, but the one after, I think we do a panel of, um, like, rediscovering old work. Like, do you guys have a piece of something that you did years ago that you completely forgot about? Because so, I lost track of timing, and because I have my book, and I was getting ready to, like, put it I was starting to put it together, like, by about 4 or 5 weeks ago, because 'cause I'm like, "I think I can get it set up, and I can have it ready on Amazon before this weekend." And then I was getting ready to start putting it together, and I was like, "Oh, shit, I don't have a cover." And then I kinda got, and not discouraged, but I got distracted with something else. But, um, that I wrote that in 2012,
Yeah.
and, like, part of so looking at all the different authors there, they have so many books. Like, I don't know how to I don't know how you write a new book a year, but at the same time, I've never even tried writing the fucking first one.
Right.
So
And that's the thing is, like, it becomes more like it's kinda like you watch a little kid and, like, they struggle to walk,
right,
right? And you're like, "Well, I walk all day
right,
long." Well, you got there from just doing a little bit at a time, and then all of a sudden it just became natural to you to the point where you don't even think about
right,
walking anymore. You've never even thought about every time you get up to go to the
right,
bathroom, you walk to the bathroom, whatever, you don't think about it.
right,
But when you were a kid, every little step was like,
right.
"Ugh, I got
Oh
it.
man, so proud of every
Oh,
one of those
I
steps.
got
Yeah.
it. Oh, I fell."
uh,
And it didn't matter because you just got up and started again.
right. I think for, like, because I think we I can see us doing TusCon for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that they come every year with something new. So I'm like, so next year I'm like, boom, Ben book. So then I was thinking, I'm like, all right, maybe like I might when they were talking about keeping them smaller, I'm like, I'm not going to write fucking huge 100,000 words. I'm like, let's keep it simple over here where I'm comfortable for now. It could
Yeah.
eventually get there.
And they were specifically talking about, like, fantasy,
Yeah.
and fantasy usually takes more words because it's world
World building.
building
Yeah.
and, like, a lot of stuff that you have to explain before or during telling the entire
Right.
story, or else people are not gonna get it, they're not gonna
Right.
understand.
Right.
Like,
If
if you
Lord of the
said it.
Rings was in, like, downtown, like, city, I'm like, I understand downtown
Yeah,
city.
I was gonna say, like, if you were to write a story about our day, you wouldn't have to be like, "Well, these cars are these things
Right.
that work with combustion engines. You put in gasoline and it compresses into the
Right.
gas." Like, you don't have to explain that to anybody. You're like, "Yeah, I know what a fucking car is, bro.
All right.
I know what a
Fair.
car is. I know what a neighborhood
Right.
is. I know I got you.
Right.
I got you." But, like, when you're in a fantasy book, you could be like, "Oh,
Right.
yeah, no, the paths of the dead." And you're like,
Right.
"Well, what the heck is a path of the dead, bro? Please explain at least for 2 to 4
Right.
paragraphs."
So part of me is like, if I do start to write anything, do I continue with what I was doing? And now I have that, like, this weird feeling of like, I don't know who that person was in 2012 anymore. Slash, I don't know if I can, because what's interesting is I wrote them all within, like, I'd say about the year. The first short story is real fucking primitive and fucking basic and elementary, and I think by the time you get to, like, the last, like, three, like, there's definitely a completely different voice in the first one. So
Right.
it's cool because, like, I have this journey, and I'm like, fuck, now I'm starting back over again.
But here's the thing is, like, you're not starting back over because you're at least to the point of the last one.
Right,
But also, if you wanna rewrite something you wrote before, go ahead. I've had years where my contribution to my writing journey was going back and saying, "Listen, let's fix this.
Right.
Or let's expand this,
Right.
or we'll tweak it and change it because I have a different direction for it.
But I like the story and I like where I wanted the story to go. So the idea that I come back, like I can even write it from 12 years later,
Yeah.
and like
But that's the thing is the
that's amazing to
possibilities are
me.
just so open. It doesn't matter.
Right?
Like,
Like, because like, I was stuck in this, like, the idea of, like, well, like, all right, so I got 10 short stories about 10 different people, and I'm like, "All right, well, where does the 11th one go?" I'm like but now I'm like, I could just fast forward it and be like, 12 years later, and he's done all these things to 1,000 other people,
right.
and that can and now it's like, where's his headspace 12 years later? And that's
Right. If you
completely
think his headspace was like here now and like stress
right?
now on this, now imagine 12 years of it.
Right, all like, so and then, because I wrote it from a place of, like, from where I was in 2012.
Right.
So, like, now I'm in a different place, but I can write to being, like, old baggage acceptance and kind of, like, reinventing myself. So, like, with my character, he's gonna be like, I the idea of, like, I could rewrite him now and be like, he's now at this place of acceptance, and now he's maybe gonna try to do some more good or something else or whatever else.
Right.
But
You're trying to write redemption for your
yeah.
character because you found it in yourself.
Well, and
And
you get those first 10, you're like, "I get what he does. Fine, fuck, if we have to skip
well,
12 years ahead," you're like, "I know what he was doing those 12 years."
the first novel I ever wrote when I was like, I don't know, 14, I was a freaking angsty teenager. My character was very angsty. The whole thing was very dark because,
Yeah, 14.
teenager,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So I can see myself either A, writing the sequel and
Right.
changing things, or rewriting it and being like, okay, I like the character, I understand the character more now, but let's move towards growth by the end of
Yeah.
the book and say, like, hey, maybe let's fix some things.
Right. Uh,
Or just do something else, change something, do
yeah.
something new or different.
Uh, I'm gonna I've it's been a day and a half, but I'm very much, in the idea of let's start to write something. I know our podcast, um we had a walk and we're just like, "Just fucking do something, Ben." And I'm like, "I don't want to." And you're like, "Fucking"
Yeah. Oh my god, we were walking in circles around this hotel for, like, forever.
we bonded for like half an hour and she's just like, "Just do
See,
it."
no, first he was ragging on me. He goes, "What do you just walk in circles and just walk in circles endlessly all night? Is this what you do at home as well?" And then I'm like, "Oh, well, it's just what I like to do." And then we end up walking in circles and
Right.
talking the entire time. So,
And it's where like it's one of those things where it's like you need someone else to tell you to stop and just do.
right.
And which is the irony of it is it's all we've done for fucking 6 panels now is like in the whole podcast for 3 years is just do.
Yeah, just do it. But it's harder in some aspects of your life than
Yeah.
others.
Real quick, Hal, the
Apocalypse Later was his brand.
he was fascinating with the idea of write, be creative, do your thing.
Wait, and he didn't stop at like writing. He
Yeah,
said, if you like to paint, paint every
right,
day. You just need to just do it.
right.
Don't worry
Get
about
your
being
million
good.
strokes in.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that. But
Nailed it before I was 15. Oh man, that is awesome.
Al, he's besmirching your legacy. Don't
Um,
listen.
but like we would have been totally happy with that conversation was fantastic.
Right.
And we were on a high with that. But Hal decides that he wants to give us another little nugget of who Hal is.
Yeah. Historian for all of AZ fandom. Like, when we say AZ fandom, we're talking about all the cons that have ever
Everything.
existed in Arizona, starting with Phoenix Con that was like in
73,
Scottsdale.
yeah.
And
Like
then the next Phoenix Con was in Tempe.
but he has he's got a website, azfandom.com, and on it, and we looked at it a little bit before we recorded. He has everything in chronological order. He's got links to different years, to different cons. So you can pick a con and look at every year that con, where it was located, the dates it was there, some of the special guests. And then if he had access to it, he scanned the program and
Yeah.
any material of that con.
Programming, leaflets, like So much stuff.
Like, it is crazy.
And they're, like, organic. They got, like, cigarette burns in them and
Folds, and they have that,
folds.
like 1970s, 80s, like, yellow where clearly it sat in someone's house where they smoked.
Right, and then they were like, "Hey, here, Hal, come scan these for
Right?
us," and they're so, like, lovingly preserved and really, like, neatly put out.
Yes.
You can go through and just walk through the history of conventions there. You can see who presented there, you can see who put the con together. We found something out about NoodleCon that we didn't
Right?
know.
Uh, but it's fascinating to see what this man has done with, like, his fandom is so, like, big, where he's like, I want to capture everything everybody's ever done in a con in Arizona.
And he did. Like,
Yeah,
he's up to date right now.
yeah. So we will eventually tackle that side of Hal in a later episode. I'm gonna try to put a small presentation together, and then get with Hal and try and go with a bigger interview presentation at the same
Just
time.
beware, you may become too motivated after
Right.
listening to Hal and quit your
Oh, I
job
love
and
him.
chase your dreams.
All right. So I said there's three parts of the con that we typically have. So obviously the deal rooms are fantastic. The panels were fantastic. Um, but then we have courtyard.
Yep, courtyard.
We had Mr. C buy dinner,
Correct, he bought us some pizza.
and for 3 hours we just campfire talked.
Yep, we had the best chat, and if you guys ever like having a good chat with a friend or
Yeah.
something, listen to Mr. C's podcast, Stories with Mr. C, because, like, you're gonna get that experience, because it's the same way that he
Yeah.
is on the podcast. He can just talk in real life.
Yeah.
He just has such, like, a rich storytelling.
He set up a story, and he hit all the beats, and he's such a nice guy. And
Yeah, great guy, interesting guy, and we had such a good time,
for
and
3 hours.
I would say we were just sitting here talking, and we were supposed to be, lassoing people
Yeah.
into our
Well,
podcast.
and they weren't as walk by as they
Right.
were last year, but at the same time, it was kind of like, could someone come over? Sure, but it was one of those things where it's like,
Just
we
have the
didn't,
experience.
don't know anything about Mr. C, and now we know that he was in LA in '97. Um, some of his,
You went to the Pacific Northwest at some point?
yep. He's got stepbrothers, and he's a monster to his youngest, and
Yeah, no, we learned a lot of stuff, and, honestly, sometimes we gotta, like, put the podcast down and have a
yeah,
good time, and I feel like we kinda end up with that situation a lot
yeah,
in the courtyard at the
yeah,
con. Like, I absolutely love, Fan Fusion and other cons like that, but TusCon is the best place to have a real conversation.
yeah,
I've often randomly run into people everywhere and have these, like, cool conversations, unique conversation, quirky
right,
conversations, uh, one fever dream
right,
conversations, and I've talked to so many individuals there where
right,
at Fan Fusion, I felt like I mostly spoke with either the people I came with or the people at our panels who were
right,
there to see us
right.
anyways.
But it was, and you and I, we know some of our stories, and we could talk if we wanted to for 3 hours. But it was fun to bring in somebody else,
Yeah.
and bond, because we all had we were all over the place. We were old jobs, kids, like
Yeah, just
streetlights, and everywhere else, and then to be able to kind of bond and connect over, like, I have a very similar situation. Mine was maybe a little bit worse or not as bad, or like, I can't believe you did that, and it's like, yeah, we all did that.
yeah, it was nice catching up with him, and obviously this is the first time, at least for me, like, to talk with him, like, in a more, like, informal
Yeah, yeah.
setting.
We had a couple of phone calls and a couple of emails, and we're happy and comfortable with each other, but we took it to that next level of, like, if he's ever in town, 100%, like, he
Come hang
is
out, yeah,
he's coming over for dinner. Like, if he's gonna go to whatever con in
don't worry,
wherever,
I'm cooking.
right? But yeah, it's one of those where, um, if I know he's within, like, 20 minutes of here, I'm like, let's fucking meet up.
Right.
And same thing, if I'm like, if I'm ever going back to Tucson for any reason, like, will you, like, I'd call him for lunch and be like, I'm here, I'm in town for like fucking a meeting,
Yeah, let's do it.
right? Like, uh, let's do something, man. Let's hang out. Like, he's a super, like, Sin Amigos, I like him. What I could call his friends,
But
loosely.
we literally could be. If we
Yeah.
run into Cine Amigos, we'll be besties with you guys as well.
Right.
Because
We'll be besties. But like, like, we need that meetup so we can kind of just hang out. Like, we need that campfire talk
right,
to really solidify that, like, that bond. Like, we're friends in that we do something similar, and that we support each other and we know of each other. But I don't know where you went to school. I don't know who your
but
family
we could
is.
easily get there. I mean,
We
like,
could, and we c- and
and I can't wait to collab with Cine Amigos again though, because we gotta talk about like a movie or something. Because like
oh,
we did like a let's talk about things
what
collab.
movie?
Let's do like a movie collab.
What movie coming out? I was thinking Scream 7.
Scream 7.
I watched all the Screams for
First of all, huge fan,
dude,
by the way.
those movies are genius.
But that's what you choose? Oh,
Well,
that's
that's the
crazy.
only movie I know of that's coming up that I'm excited to see. I'll actually go to the theater and see it. But I think we have to look at what movies are coming out and lock them up and be like, let's figure this thing out.
Like, please talk to us. We have good
Yeah,
movie, opinions and stuff, 'cause
right.
we didn't really talk about we did talk about movies
Some,
a little bit when we talked to them, but
but I think, but we've never
I
done,
I just love their energy and I
yeah,
like their opinions, like, when you watch their videos and
right.
stuff like that.
Because we will talk about things that we like, but we've never dedicated an entire 50 minutes to a movie. And I would love to be part of that energy of like, let's nerd out, let's backtrack, like, let's old stories. And like,
Yeah.
like the idea of like, did you know that this, like this weird fact that I found somewhere? And it's like that, like, I want 50 minutes on just one movie.
Which we can do.
We just, which,
Let's invite them. Come
yeah,
on.
you tell me what movie.
It has to be a upcoming movie, and what do you think?
All right, guys, we're not trimming this out. We're gonna, while we're looking at movies real quick, there was a lady that I met in the dealer room today, Liz Danforth. Um, she's an old artist, used to draw Magic the Gathering cards. Um, I talked to her for a little bit, and she is hardcore gamer. She loves like uh, she's a gamer. She loves the nerding out with this different types of games, and she loves the artwork. And she's working on some new projects. But it was super interesting to play with a card that I know, it's like iconic, and the idea is to talk to somebody who made that iconic piece of cardboard card. And the what I think, I told her, I said, I love your art. I love the Magic the Gathering stuff that you used to do. And I said, not for anything. I said, what took too long is for people to acknowledge that a Magic the Gathering card is also art.
Well, and the art on those cards, and that's not just Magic the Gathering,
Right.
that's every trading card. There it's a huge part of the fandom.
And I even told her this. It's uh, I'd say like in the 90s, people really started to appreciate the different type, like, comic book artists weren't considered artists like you would like a Van Gogh.
Well, yeah, and you start out, like, with, like, Pokemon cards,
Right.
like, it's just, like, Pikachu
Right.
standing there like an NPC,
Right.
but now
But
it's,
that
like
first Charizard is iconic.
now it's a Pikachu using Quick
Yeah.
Attack on somebody,
Right.
and it's they're reimagining how you can present something like that, because obviously the picture of Pikachu is
Mhm.
not gonna change the value of the card in an
You're
attack
right.
in the game sense, but once they realize that they can do something a little bit more pushing the boundaries, they went ahead and changed it in that
Yeah.
way, and I feel like Magic the Gathering was ahead of the curve on that,
Right.
where they treated it as an art form from the beginning.
Right. Well, within the gaming industry, because it's similar to video game music, is I think Nobuo Uematsu helped a lot in the 90s with Final Fantasy VII, but he did a bunch of other stuff. But Aerith's theme was so good as it came from a video game, but it was so good that it started hitting like topping the charts on the
Yeah.
Billboard. And it's like this idea of like it was always there, but people are now starting to acknowledge like this is legit,
Yeah, and also that you don't
mainstream legit.
necessarily need to be part of that fandom
Right,
to appreciate the
right,
music from it.
right.
Because, like, video game music, especially from RPG
Mhm.
games, is so beautiful. Like, I listen to Skyrim music
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
work. Just it's the background music that just happens to be there.
Crisis Core is one of my favorite albums, and it's just the different scenes and the different locations, and it's some of the best like instrumental music I've ever seen. And
Yeah.
like I would play it on repeat for days. And what's nice is now you get these concerts, you get Video Game Live, and you get Distant Worlds, where people are paying like money to go to a symphony and watch Mario Brothers being played with a 200-piece orchestra.
Yeah, of
And like
course.
and like that's my favorite part about fandom is like we got to a point where we're like, I want to see this in an orchestra. Orchestra people 50 years ago would be like, you can't play Mario Brothers,
Yeah, we're not playing Mario Bros. Or they play it for a little joke, like a
right?
little couple
Right,
notes, and then say "hoops."
right.
But the things that you can imagine, things like orchestras, because orchestras used to seem like something that was untouchable.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a rich person thing. It's something that, like, has to be
Oh,
so
it was
vast
class,
to deserve an orchestra, but you can have an orchestra play Hot Cross Buns if you want. I
right?
mean, they all had to start somewhere, and if there's something that you appreciate, then you can have them play that. And I saw a live viewing of Harry Potter
Okay.
with a live orchestra behind it. So they're playing the actual the movie sans the soundtrack,
Hmm.
and they're live playing the soundtrack behind it.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, that is such a special thing because the music is one of the, like, things that hits you straight to your core
Right.
when you hear, like, if you hear Pokemon music from,
Hmm.
like, the first
Dude,
game.
don't even mess with me, dude. I get hyped.
You get hyped, but it's one of those things where it goes straight to the core of you,
Hmm.
the way that maybe not even just seeing, like, pictures of the game
Hmm.
or artwork from the game, it's right there with you when you hear the music
Right.
because it's a big part of people's lives
Right.
and the way that people process things emotionally and,
So
intellectually.
Um, I absolutely. So it was awesome talking to her, and
Yeah.
she legit she put everything down. We nerded out for a minute, and we talked about just how like fandom is kind of like branched out everywhere, and like uh she mentioned like early days. She was getting because like old comic book artists never got residuals for anything they did. You paid per page. You got paid per page, and then you don't own any of your own stuff. And she talked about like it's so much of an art now that these artists are like they're fighting for the rights to keep the stuff that they're drawing,
Yeah.
because they know that how important this stuff is, and that Magic's been around for fucking 30 years now, and it's like so it was interesting to talk to her. It was probably one of and then I had her sign some stuff for me. But it was fun. It was kind of cool to it was like my Robert Kurtzman moment of the year.
I would say you run into the strangest people sometimes that you don't realize were a part of something that you loved.
Right.
And you do think here in Tucson, Arizona,
Right.
what a random place to find somebody like that, but they're all over the place.
All right. Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man, Scream 7. Scream 7 is probably the earliest one coming out. That one's February 27th.
Yeah, I'm so into the franchise, so it's
What if the boys aren't?
dude, they better be.
I'll email them and I'll ask them what movies they have, because I'm sure they got a list of
Right.
whatever's coming up. So,
Give us your junkiest movie that you don't care
right.
about, because what if we suck at reviewing movies?
Um, what if we did one of these is uh we do like a crossover, like we do one that they like and we do one that, and then you go to theirs to hear our something, and then they come into ours to hear their something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be like, hey, if you guys want to hear the second half of this conversation, head over to Sin Amigos.
Yeah. You want to hear about this movie? Go over to Cinemigos.
Right.
And they're like, hey, if you want to hear about this movie,
Right.
head over to Jason Whimsy.
All right. I'll reach out to him this week. I've been pretty good on Mondays on sending out my correspondences and stuff. TusCon 52
So
success.
amazing. Amazing. And we knew it was going to be, but now it's good to know that it was.
I like that we got the panels. Um, they I would assume that there would have to be some kind of trust in the programmer to be like,
I hope they saw us and they were like, they did well.
right. Because like I don't know if anybody can just write in and be like, oh, I want to do a panel. Like, but so I'm excited to go back again next year. I like the idea that knowing that like we could just get slotted in where they're at. Um,
And those panels were fun too because
mhm,
it was more like we got a chance to just stretch our legs
yeah,
intellectually and go with the
right.
flow because we like to sit there and be like, what if this, what if that, what should we talk about? But
But I think so. In theory, we need four panel ideas for 2026. So I think we work on them. I think for TusCon, I think similar to what we did the last year, we went to the genocide one. I think we do either a game and or like a opposite thinker
right,
like topic and kind of engage in some of those things of like um I think that would be fun on top of like let's get
right.
you to do like the whole Hal thing is like just fuck. Can I ask Cal to come in?
We could do like a kill your darlings thing. Okay, I'll talk to you about it
Okay,
afterwards.
okay.
It's
You
interesting.
know, I had a ends our con season. I absolutely love it. Um, we did three cons. I did three cons this year. Um, I don't. Do we have room for a fourth in the first 6 months? Because we went June, October, November. Like, is in theory, is there room in like in April,
January,
May, February,
February,
March, April?
March, April. We'll have to see what
Could
kind
we
of
could
cons
we
there
be a
are.
four con a year people?
But we'll have to find the con.
Yeah,
We'll look on Easy Fandom real quick.
yeah, yeah. We will. Um, Absolutely enjoyable. This was such a good year.
And we had
For
such an excellent time. We can't wait for next year TusCon.
uh, Jason, the Whimsy is doing very well. The panels are doing very well. We're reaching out to people. Like our circles is getting bigger.
And we're having a great time, which is like the most fun part.
Absolutely, and people are having fun with us. And like they're
Dude, that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part.
we're having a good time. We're having a blast. And like it could have sucked. And we're like it was amazing. And then but people are generally enjoying our presence and like
It's a shocker to us sometimes.
I do it at work, which is but I'm also like a supervisor manager, and you're in a elevated position. So obviously, when you talk to people, there's a certain amount of listen.
Right.
But as a peer, it's awesome to kind of get that.
Oh, for sure.
Like that's what I enjoyed a lot about this weekend was people came in. Um, Older or they see like, oh, who are these guys? They're just podcasters. But the fact that like that's how I thought they were thinking. But
Right.
they're like, no, I want to know what you have to say. Like we're that interested in the description and we want to come in and hear it. So I loved the idea of being able to like be part of that room and then instantly just like being able to like bond with everybody.
Yeah, that was so much fun. And TusCon's the best place to do it.
Absolutely. Um, say what you will, it'd be my first con, but like woot woot. I think that's all we got.
Whimsy.